afternoon. Fuck Donald Trump, and welcome to the Stacey Show. Woo! Here we are, episode 8. Felt like I had to jump in and do a show this week because so much is happening in our country today. I want to start off with something kind of sad, though. I'm sure that you all have heard by now that Miss Dolly Parton has left us. For all the manifesting that I do on the internet for the demise of Donald Trump and everyone around him, the universe has to take Dolly. You know, I'm sure everybody knows everything that Dolly Parton has contributed and done to better humanity. She's one of the people that's, if you're my age, then Dolly Parton has been in your life your whole life. You know, from television to film, music, everything. She's been just like a pie. Dolly Parton's like a baked-in pie in my life. She's an ingredient that I think sometimes even when people aren't into country music, that Dolly Parton is still part of their lives. Personally, one of my favorite movies is Steel Magnolias. And, you know, it's funny how characters in a movie can even shape who you become as a person. You know, the arts are so important for the fabric of our country. They're so important. I think that's why when Donald Trump tries to put his fucking name on our Kennedy Center, it pisses me off so much. Not only because we belonged to the Kennedy Center for 20 years, but, you know, and it's been something that we love to do that we have not been able to do at all since he took over. There's no way that my ass is going there with his name on anything or even having anything to do with the place. You know, so, you know, the arts are so important, and people that are involved in the arts. One of the things that I think is really important to bring up here about people and people who are famous is, I think right now especially, it's very important that anybody that I'm going to contribute money to, or that I'm going to go buy tickets to, or that I'm going to see in any capacity in a movie or otherwise, music, I want to know where they stand. I never really cared a whole lot about someone's political views before, and, you know, I cared about their views back in AIDS, when AIDS was happening, and I cared that we fought for that, but I never came out and said, I hate these motherfucking people, and I hope they all just die, you know? I've never said anything like that before, but I feel that way now. You know, these people, in my opinion, on the other side are not human beings anymore. They're just not. Everything that they want to do is to tear other people down, is to tear love down, is to tear people who just want to live their lives as they are down. Everything about them, their policies and everything, is just to strip away rights of people. And so if you are for that, if you are for stripping rights away from women and people of color and, you know, our immigrant community, then I don't want to be supporting you in any way. And I think it's very important right now. I mean, there are some comedians out there that I like, you know, that walk a line. And I understand why they walk that line. That's their bread and butter, their income. But I can't support them anymore because I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure, you know, one of them in particular that I really like is Democrat leaning big time. Her parents were Democrat and she talks about it, but she doesn't come right out and fucking say, fuck you, Donald Trump, which is what I want her to do. You know, I want these people to come out, especially when we have to spend money to go see them and we're going to support their careers. I've got to know who you are. I've just got to know who you are. And Dolly Parton was that. Dolly Parton stood on principle. Dolly Parton stood for rights, for gay people. She's a gay icon. LGBT community just loves Dolly Parton, and just like Cher and everybody else who stands up and says, hey, this shit's fucked up. This shit's fucked up. Can we just all be in love, you know? And anyway, Godspeed, Dolly Parton. And, you know, you're very loved. Very loved. A lot of people all over the world. This is a hard one. This is a hard one to lose. And you know what that motherfucker Trump did? Cohen, you know, right before she died, you know, they cut the funding to pay for her books to be shipped. You know, her initiative where she gave away all the free books. Yeah, that's his fucking contribution, is he cut the funding out to just mail the damn books. That's all she was asking for. You know, at every turn, this motherfucker Donald Trump, at every single fucking turn, he's just pure evil. But evil still lives today, and Dolly Parton is gone. You've got to wonder, you know, whoever's in charge of this cosmic joke, what the fuck they're thinking. 'Cause I'm not real happy about it at the moment. Speaking of rights of people, this week something very interesting. I'm sure you've heard about it by now. If you're not into sports at all, or it's just not of interest to you, still stick with this because it has to do with sports, but it also has to do with human rights and women's rights. This week, Calloway, the golf brand, partnered with a company called Good. And this company put out an ad that showed a woman approaching a golf club and attempting to take it, and a man rushes over, violently pushes her down, and stands on top of her and says, "You will not touch my golf club," something like that. I saw that, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" That was my first reaction. I have a bag full of Callaway golf clubs. I should have brought them out here to show you. Maybe I'll do another video showing that this is my clubs, because I feel like I can speak on this because I have spent money. I've played golf for 40 years, 40 plus years. My grandfather was a golfer. I sat in his lap watching golf from the time I could watch television. If there were videos back then, that would have been me jumping up and down screaming because I just loved it. I love the game of golf. I love the sport. And I've been playing for a very long time. And most of that time I have played with Callaway golf clubs. Callaway shirts, Callaway clothes, Callaway hats. I bought the whole fucking thing. You know, when I like something, you know, that's kind of what I do. I stick with it. As a matter of fact, I just got fitted and bought a new set of clubs about 3 years ago. Callaway. Now I feel fucking duped. I feel duped. I feel lied to. And I would like to join a class action lawsuit to get all of the money back that I ever spent on Callaway golf clubs. And I think that this commercial may just win a lawsuit like that, because I feel very lied to about the whole thing. You know, why are they promoting to women when they feel this way about women, that when they feel that women should be abused by men, when they feel that men are the dominant the dominant sex, which, you know, guys, yeah, I don't think so. And I think women are starting to come into their power. I do know this. If a man were to push me down in any capacity and I was standing anywhere near a golf club, that man would have a golf club buried 6 inches into his skull, and he would be rendered useless for the rest of his life and be fed through a feeding tube if he was still alive at all. Because if someone came along and pushed me, I would consider that a threat. And you'd be lucky if the golf club is what got you, because what might be next to you is my Sig Sauer. And if that got pulled, you'd be done. You'd be done. And I think women, this is just my personal opinion out here. So, you know, there are a lot of anti-gun people that follow me, I'm sure. But I think that every woman and every person of color should apply for a gun permit and should get one if they can. If they have the money to buy one, I think it should be armed. One of the things I noticed at the shooting ranges, where there are a lot of black people now, where there didn't used to be. And that makes me very happy. And all I want to say when I'm in there with them is, "Hey, hi, I'm going to be standing on your side. Big time. Big fucking time." Because people who look like me have lost their fucking minds. They've lost their minds. The ones over there. You know, and I feel, yeah, and I'm going to circle back to why I think that that people need to speak out about where they stand. Because, you know, especially white women have just, these MAGA white women have just made us all look so fucking bad. I think that everybody that has any kind of a platform needs to stand up and say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, not me, motherfuckers, not me. I'm not one of these motherfuckers," because I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. Matter of fact, I hate them. I despise them with a hatred that just, I can't even convey to you how that feels, how much I despise these women, these white women, these MAGA women, and who they are and what they represent and how they are. Their faces all filled up with all that shit they pump into their faces, all that fucking makeup they have all over them. Yeah, trying to get their MAGA chuds, what, to beat them up and push them down? Is that what they're into? You know, I don't know. I've gone on a little soapbox here. But yeah, that's how I feel about it anyway. You need to come out and say where you stand. You know, and that's something that Miss Dolly Parton did for sure. We knew right where she stood at all times about everybody. And this Callaway thing, you know, Tell you what, no more. No more. I'm going to put those clubs aside. Now, granted, if you know anything about golf, going out and buying new golf clubs isn't the worst thing that can happen to you. So the fact that I'm going to need to go out and buy all new clubs is not necessarily a nightmare for me. But I am, I'm very disappointed that I have to now, because there's no way that I'm going out on a golf course with the Calloway Golf Club. I was supposed to play tomorrow. I canceled it because I'm going Friday for fittings to get new clubs. And then I started looking up what companies are owned by women, what golf manufacturers, and there really are none. There are none. Women just, they're out there. They're doing golf courses and they're designing, and they're just not in the system so much for companies. But if there was one full brand, a company that was a golf company owned by women, that's where I would go for sure. But I'm going to do a little bit of research too about what I buy next, and I'm going to need to know a little bit, because I am very disappointed in Callaway. Very disappointed. Do you know how many people had to look at that ad, that had to go through and look at that ad of that woman being pushed to the ground to say, oh yeah, this is good. This is going to be good. Good. How? How are you a publicly traded company and going to just completely knock out an entire sex of people from purchasing your stuff? I'm never going to buy it again. I'm the buyer for you, Callaway. I'm your buyer. I can afford them. I buy them. You lost me. Gone. There's nothing you can say or do. And coming out and saying, oh, we apologize, and pulling the ad, that's not enough. The way you need to start this, motherfuckers, is you need to put, a minimum of $150 million towards women of abuse. I mean, you need to get out there and do a major campaign. And even if you did, though, I think I'm pretty done. I'm done. But you might want to give it a go, because, in 10 years, maybe people coming up might let you slide. But right now, you're fucked, Callaway. You're fucked. You watch those numbers drop. Dumb. Just dumb. This whole country's just dumb right now, making dumb moves, doing dumb things. Because what? They think that Donald Trump has created some environment where it's okay to show that you just want to beat people up. You think, oh, well, we can take her rights away. If a woman is pregnant now in a lot of states, and they are starting to die, women are starting to die, and they have a problem with the pregnancy, then they won't abort the baby, and the baby will die, the mother will die, everybody dies, and everybody goes home. And that's what's happening, because we have these men in Congress that have decided that they are going to decide what happens to women. You know what I say to that? I say, fuck that shit, motherfuckers. God, I don't know. I don't know if I could be sitting in Congress, because I think I'd be flying across the table and I'd be punching the fuck out of people. I don't know why there isn't more violence, to be honest with you, from women to men. Women are going to need to start standing up, They're going to need to start standing up. Women are going to need to start doing more of what that woman did, and just stabbing the fuckers. Stabbing them. End them. You come after me, done. Bye. And all women in homes should start doing this. And the more men that get killed, the less men are going to start thinking about beating women, aren't they? They're going to stop thinking about it. And I think that the Democrats, when they get into power, ought to let every goddamn woman out of any prison that ever did anything to a man. Blanket. If you're in there because of killing a man or doing anything to a man, every woman ought to be let out. Believe her. Believe her when she says she was acting in self-defense. Done. Let you all out. To the women in prison. That's what I'm saying. We're going to work to get you out of there. So that's what I'm voting for. Oh my God. And Democrats. Hakeem Jeffries meeting with Kushner. I got some opinions on this shit. Oh boy, do I. You're going to meet with him to find middle ground, right? You want to have middle ground. No, nay on the middle ground. I don't want middle ground with these motherfuckers, not even a second. I want you to walk into that house when we take that house, and I want you to look at those motherfucking Republicans and say, get the fuck out. We don't even want to talk to you motherfuckers. They've taken a bus and driven it backwards over the American fucking people for the last 2 fucking years. That's what the House has done. When we get in there, I don't even want you to talk to those motherfuckers. Throw them out the fucking door. Sit down and shut the fuck up. You've got nothing to say. I don't want middle ground with these bitches. I don't want Kushner walking away thinking, oh, I got a buddy over here now. He's not going to indict me. I want every one of them fucking indicted. I want their heads on stakes outside the fucking kingdom is what I want. I don't want it common ground anymore. There is no common ground. These aren't human beings we're talking about anymore. These are compromised people. Every single one of those Republicans is a compromised man. Haven't we learned from what happened with Epstein and what the Epstein files are? What he did? What other countries have done? I mean, do they think that we're all just sitting here going, oh, I wonder why? I wonder why all the Republicans are just sucking on Donald Trump's little mushroom. They're sucking on it because there's videos of them with children. All of them, including Donald Trump, mostly of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, his strings are being pulled by so many fucking different people that he couldn't have an independent thought and act on it if he wanted to. There's nothing he can do. His job is to destroy the United States of America. I am 100% certain of this. There is no other explanation for everything that is happening. And the people that follow him have been brainwashed to the point that they cannot see reality in front of them anymore. They have taglines, you're a libtard, you're stupid, the media is wrong, it lies, we can't trust anybody, all government's bad, everything's bad. But Donald Trump's great, he's wonderful. They're fucked. They're gone. And we have to approach them as zombies, as literal zombies. And what will we do as zombies? Well, we take them out. Just end it all, And by ending it all, I mean, sit down, shut the fuck up, and we don't want to hear from you anymore. We are the majority of the country. I don't want common ground. I do not want common ground with these motherfuckers. Not even a little fucking bit, bitches. Not a little bit. I don't want to hear you say, well, if we do this, nope. Nothing. Nada from you. Little maggot fucks. Because come November, no matter how hard you try, even with this Supreme Court ruling that just came down, that's another thing. The Supreme Court's mucking it up a little bit. Although I don't think it's going to have the impact that they think it is. Mail-in voting's not going to stop. Mail-in voting's good for everybody. There are no problems in our voting system. So basically, the whole thing is just to create some kind of madness over voting so that when they get crushed in November, he can come out and say, it's all rigged. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. That's all it is. That's all it is. Period. The end. Let's wreak as much havoc as we can. Let's put enough doubt into these MAGA morons' heads, right? That they'll get out and do something. Call them to action, right? The MAGA morons. Because historically, the Democrats are peaceful. We'll march, we'll vote, we'll do what we need to do. We try to change things the right way because we believe in the Constitution. We're not walking around with Trump 2028 on our heads, right? Because somehow he's convinced them, because he didn't serve 2 consecutive terms, that he didn't serve 2 terms. I just can't anymore. There's no point in trying to make any of it make sense. Because you just can't. There's no logic, there's no explanation. There's no meaning. It's just fear, lies, and some kind of cultish crazy that's stemming from them. I turn on Fox News once in a while just to see just how bad it is. And I can't watch it but for a few minutes. To listen to them literally makes your eye twitch. Because the amount of lies, just pure lies that they spew to these poor people that ingest this as truth is really terrifying. It really is. It's terrifying. And I don't know why. I mean, what's the why? What's the why? I keep asking, what's the why? What's the end game here? What is the end game? Because the women that are on the television shows, obviously, they like to work. They like to make money. And the whole purpose of their whole movement is to have women have absolutely zero rights to be on their knees in front of their husbands with their Bibles and having as many babies as they can have. Well, if that's what they're preaching, then why are they on television speaking? Why aren't they home having babies? I don't get it. The hypocrisy is mind-blowing. You know, their whole thing is no women's rights, no abortion, don't save the mother, don't in any way save the mother, kill the baby, kill the mother. I don't know what their whole thing is, but it's certainly not women's rights. It's not rights for children. It's not education. They don't care about education. So what is it that they want exactly? I can never figure quite out what their game plan is. I mean, they want to see no gay people. Okay, you got no gay people now. You've got no hairstylists. You've got no people in the movies. You've got no musicals. You've got no Broadway. You've got no color. You've got no life. So now everything's just gray, no color. Now you've just got a bunch of hairy men running around, beating women, reading the Bible, and everything is in the name of Jesus. You're having hordes of children that are going to do what exactly? What exactly are they going to work doing? Because Donald Trump is making it so what, the coal mines are open back up? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to go out and dig coal? You know, I just wish that one person would say, why? Why? Why do you want that? Well, what is it that you want? Are you so afraid to pee next to somebody that's had a surgery? Are you so scared of that? Something that's probably never going to happen in your lifetime because the population is so small and doesn't live near you in Idaho because they're getting the fuck out of there as fast as they can because, see, they have color and light and love. People that are full of life, get the fuck out of those places. They just do. The dummies stay. The MAGA dummies all stay. They all sit in their little church pews, right? In their little homemade dresses. Preach the Bible. Preach love. There's no love. There's no love. There's men beating their wives, raping their wives. There's pastors raping children. That's what's in the churches. That's it. It's just so simple to see. I don't know what their end game is any more than I guess you do. You know, but I know that on my social medias that I get on and I'm trying to say that through life, light and love, we're going to win. We're the good. We are really the hand of God in a lot of ways. If you believe in God or whatever entity you believe in or don't believe in the cosmic spin, the universe. I do believe a lot in energy and us being part of the creative. And I do believe that if we manifest enough, if enough of us manifest, we can bend the universe. Get rid of them. One way or another, the universe will respond and react. You know, I have something on my desk. If you don't know, if you're just coming into one of my podcasts, I own a real estate brokerage, right? So I have a company. I'm a CEO. And I have to motivate people and do things sometimes. But this is the main thing that I show to people. And I keep this on my desk, right? If you change your thoughts, you can change your world. No truer things have ever been said. Words, written. But your thoughts are everything. How you think, what you think, what you get up in the morning trying to think, what you want to say, how you want to present yourself to the world. Your thoughts are everything. And if we all get on the same plane and start thinking the same thing, someone said, but if you're wishing for the world to take something out of the world, that's not a good manifest to have. That's not a good manifest to have. But I believe that we're fighting actual monsters here. I believe that men who rape children are monsters. I believe people that want to take away rights of other people are monsters, literal monsters. So where does that put us? That puts us in the space where we're nothing but love and light. But with love and light, we can manifest the defeat of monsters. So we're using it for good in the end. Because evil needs to go, needs to be ridden from this planet. Needs to go. And through our manifestation of it, something will jostle, something will move. Maybe someone with good aim will take a shot, unlike the other ones that have missed. The ear. Come on. With the ear. That was so staged. I'm not a conspiracy person. She is. She's crazy, this motherfucker over here. For those of you who can't see, that's Blanche over here. Crazy as a fuck, I'll tell you. But at any rate, yeah. I forgot what I was talking about. That's what happens when you're sitting here by yourself. You completely forget what you were saying. What was I saying? What was I saying, Blanche? See, you got me all fucked up over here. I forgot what I was saying. Well, it must not have been that important anyway. I think I was talking about ending them and manifesting to end them from this plane. But, you know, we can do it. We can do it if we try hard enough, if we all think the same thing. But, so for the end today of the little show, my little rant, for Dolly Parton, I'd like to end this with a little ditty, if you will, from the Stacey Show. To you, Dolly. I hope they let Dolly into heaven, and I hope they let her keep her knockers. Gives a new meaning to the song, knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Dolly's knocking on heaven's door. Let her in with her knockers. Godspeed, Dolly Parton.